Okay, well, hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching or listening. Liam Hartree back with you with another episode of Presenting Champions for the Simply Inspired podcast. And today I'm back with one of my all-time favorite guests and one of my all-time favorite human beings in general. Today's guest, Rob Cunningham. Now, many people will know I've interviewed Rob before. Today we're doing a catch-up on everything he's been doing since the last interview in the world of bare knuckle boxing, in the world of mixed martial arts. Some big plans yet to come with mixed martial arts as well. Now, a lot of people will know that this man has such an inspiring story from coming from a small island in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland, making it all the way into the UK itself, starting MMA at a late age of 26, I believe, having the first fight at 28, I believe, all the way to reaching such a high level in, as I've said, mixed martial arts, bare knuckle boxing, competing around the world in different locations, working on his mental mindset as well. This man just inspires me so much. I consider him a good friend, and you, the viewers and listeners, I'm sure you'll take away a lot from this as well. Not only about fighting, but also about mindset, being the best version of yourself, and the discipline it takes to reach your goals in life. So, Rob, my friend, thank you so much for coming back on the show, brother. It's awesome to have you back.
Oh, what an intro. How do I follow up on that? Thanks very much, mate. Thank you
No,
very much for the kind words, and it's good to be back on with you.
you as well, mate. You as well. I mean, no, I had the intro in mind because so much of both of us since we last spoke. Because obviously, as we were talking about before recording, I've moved to Cyprus and my life has changed. You've been having some big wins and some big successes. Your life has changed. So it's one of those things where a catch up was sort of long overdue in a way. So here we are, and everything. So. We will talk about your future plans. We will talk about a couple of your past fights that have happened since we last spoke as well. Now, if I remember correctly, when we last spoke, it was somewhere around your win over Wayne Morgan. I think it was around that sort of time.
Yeah.
I think so. Obviously, since then you had a very big win in MMA as well with Arm Triangle Choke. That was a good one. I'd like to start with that fight just to kick things off with the bang and get a few of your thoughts and recollections on it, please, mate. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, so over, well, I'd probably say the last 2 years, the main focus was the bare knuckle. I've been fighting with the BKFC, obviously. Had some good wins, but I always missed the MMA. I sort of toyed with the idea a few times, back to it. Um, I started training up with the Aspinall team last year. And then I just thought I need to sort of give this another go. It was quite tricky getting fights. I kept getting offered some decent fights with the BKFC, so that was the sort of the larger opportunities on hand because I was only 1-on-1 as a pro in MMA. So um, the bigger offers were coming with the BKFC towards the end of 2023. Sorry, 2023. But then I just bit the bullet and I thought I'm gonna have to get back in the cage. I'm missing too much. So yeah, I thought, when was it? February, um, end of February this year. I made my comeback. I think, yeah. So that would have been 2 or 3 years after my last one for the FC. So it's a long time out. Still been training, still been obviously working on the MMA game, bits and bobs. Although boxing was my sole focus for the BKFC, I was still training with the mixed martial arts. And yeah, I the fight itself, it, I got the win, but everything around it couldn't have gone worse. Um, I done the weight cut, and then I woke up the day after on fight day, and I had the worst sort of flu or illness, or I didn't know what it was. I was shaking. I went delirious, dizzy. And my opponent was coming over from France, so any, I mean, anyone else, or realistically, considering my health, I shouldn't have fought. I was that bad, and it was 4 o'clock on the Saturday. I was due to travel up to Anglesey in North Wales to get at 6 o'clock, and my missus was looking at me, and I could tell she was like, "You shouldn't be fighting." and I knew I shouldn't have been fighting. I got up there. I decided I can't let this lad down. He's come all the way from France. It's not fair. I just need to go. And I was hitting pads with McCormick backstage, and I could only manage 20-second blasts. I couldn't breathe. There was no air coming. Like I couldn't get the air out my lungs, and I was just really really not well. I turned around and I said, I'm going to have to get this guy out of here in the first round. I haven't got 3 5-minute rounds in me. So we got in there. I pressed him back against the cage, and I body locked him. And I went to pick him up, and it just weren't happening. I was like, oh, no. I just didn't have any energy. And something happened. There was a little bit of scramble, and he ended up on top of me and turtle on the floor, and he wrapped the choke. I just remember looking up, and the choke was on. He had me in the choke, and I was just thinking, this cannot happen. I'm not letting this happen. I cannot lose this fight. I've worked too hard to come back. I've wanted to come back for so long. I can't let this happen. And I managed to get out, get on top, and then I locked in a head and arm triangle from half guard as well. I didn't pass his guard. I seemed to get enough pressure without it. And I just remember the cornerman shouting, there's 20 seconds left. And I wrapped it and I was squeezing. And in the head, I was going, please tap, please just tap. And then eventually he did. I was so grateful, mate. Because I thought, I can't come out for another round. I was gasping for air, my chest was tight. I ended up going to the doctors a couple of days later, and I had early set pneumonia. So I shouldn't have been fighting. I was due to go and fight then on Hexagon in France 3 weeks later, but the pneumonia crippled me. I was in bed for at least a week and a half with it. Just couldn't breathe. So we had to basically delay the fight we fought originally, but it didn't happen anyway. So they got a replacement in, which I was gutted about because I was looking forward to that one, but I was just incapable of going out and performing against my opponent in 3 weeks. Yeah, I was happy to get the win. I was happy to get back in the cage. Even though it was nice because I was probably at 20-30% health. Never mind like ability or skill set. Health, I was struggling. I still got the win, so it just showed myself that I can get through adversity and I can power through, and I am capable of doing this. So I was very happy to get the win in that sort of condition.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. See, this is why I love asking these questions, mate, because you never know some of the behind the scenes things and everything that what's going on. The fans don't know.
I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone about that because it would have been disrespectful to my opponent if I decide saying before the fight I'm not well. It's sort of like an excuse. So if he'd have beat me, the excuse is already there. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to disrespect my opponent in that way, as well as disrespect myself. Because at the end of the day, I either made the decision to still fight. So whether I'm at 20% health or I'm feeling the best I've ever felt, I've made the decision to go in there and fight. So that's why I waited until after to say, listen, I went well. I probably shouldn't have been in there, but I'm happy to get the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is a true championship mindset. Absolutely. I mean, that is something special. And yeah, not a lot of people got that in them. But these opportunities, you have to grab them with both hands when they come along. And as you were saying, from your opponent. Obviously, as we were talking about just now, you have been switching between MMA and bare knuckle, and you've been walking both paths. And obviously, you're going to be focusing more on MMA, which we'll talk more about in a minute. The fight with Gary Slater, and I am going to give him a shout out, I interviewed him once as well. It didn't go the way most of us thought it would go. I mean, let's put it that way, because I remember thinking, and it's no disrespect to Gary, by the way, I'm just going to put this out there. Obviously, he's a champion in pit fighting. Obviously, he's come back from a suicide attempt. I love the guy, got nothing against him, but I'm just saying, when you look at your two skill sets matched up, I thought, yeah, Rob's got this. And I saw the result and I was like, what the hell? And obviously, I wouldn't always be that candid about it, but because we know each other well, I can just say, look, I remember thinking, Rob's got this, checking the results a little bit later, because I was working, but I was checking the results and the highlights, and I remember thinking, what the hell's just happened? So I don't mean it in a disrespectful way to you,
No,
but
of course.
what the hell did happen, and because it didn't go the way we thought it would, to be honest with you, my friend.
Um, it was just one of them nights, I suppose. The better man won on the night. He had a game plan, and it worked. I dropped my hand. He caught me with an overhand right. Um, I went down, but I like popped straight back up. Um, and then I went back at him. I caught him with a few, and then I dropped my hands again. He caught me in the chin, so I took a knee. Um, I stood up on the 8 counts, and the ref just said no. I was a little bit annoyed because I wanted to continue. I wasn't out, but in hindsight, looking back, it was the right decision. I was miles off it. Gary was on his A game, and I was miles off it. So yeah, I've had four with the BKFC now. I've won two, I've lost two. Um, it's one of them sports where anyone can beat anyone. It's not like anything else. Whoever sort of lands the clean shots quicker tends to win the fight. And Gary, hats off to him, landed. So yeah, he was a lot better than I thought he would be. Um, and I just didn't get my game plan right or going. And Joe, what? I had a really, really good fight camp. I prepped brilliantly. I had brilliant sparring. I had no injuries. Um, so I can't. There's no like little excuses that I'm not like that anyway. I would never make excuses. But do you know what I mean? There's nothing I can say that went wrong in the lead up. It was just an off night, and yeah, I take my hats off. I've been trolled massively online for it, um, especially on YouTube, on videos and stuff, by the little keyboard warriors that have never done 2 rounds of toast, never mind 2 rounds of bare knuckle. But there was a time when I used to react to stuff like that, but it doesn't bother me. I just think come to the gym and spar me, and then see what words come out. But yeah, I've had some pretty nasty shit said, but I think that's disrespectful, not just to myself but to Gary, because in all credit to him, he deserves his win, like everyone does that wins these fights. So yeah, going back to the point, off night for me, good night for Gary. He done really well, and he landed some good shots, and yeah, massive respect to him.
Yeah, well, I'll put it out there, say massive respect to him. I mean, for him coming from pit fighting to where he's at now, and I'm just putting in, he's probably going to ask me for another interview as well because obviously he's won that and we're talking. So I'll put it out there. But no, I mean, I always like to see anyone do well, but at the same time, I was gutted for you, mate. And it's one of those things where yes, bare knuckle boxing is always a roll of the dice, isn't it? I mean, you never know which way it's going to go. That's part of what makes it so exciting, especially when you got two big guys in there. I mean, both of you were units, so that then you definitely don't know. But still, I was gutted. However, the positive that I hope you've taken from it is that you're now clear on the fact you're going to be taking the MMA forward all the way. And I know when we spoke after the fight and I sort of checked in on you a little bit and everything like that. You was saying like, yeah, no, it's going to be totally MMA now and everything. So you're obviously still feeling that way. Can you talk to us a little bit about your future plans? I don't mind how far ahead you want to go, but just that there's obviously that fire in your belly to take the MMA far now.
With the bare knuckle, I haven't had the same sort of emotion attached to it as I do with MMA. If that was a MMA fight that I'd lost, I'd have been devastated. Um, but it was almost like saying I don't care is not the right thing. I don't care as much. That's probably a better way of wording it, because my love's mixed martial arts. It always has been. Like that's been my sport. I know that's my sport, and I know that's what I'm good at. I'm not a bare knuckle fighter. I've never been a bare knuckle fighter. I've always been a mixed martial artist that's took some bare knuckle fights. Now I was calling out the big names like Ben Rothwell's, But of course, I'm going to do that. I want to get big paydays, so I've got as much right as everyone else to be asking for these big fights. Not so much after taking the losses, but you wouldn't see me calling Ben Rothwell out now. But when I was on a win streak, I'd won two in a row. I had two stoppages. He was looking for fights. I was like, yeah, I want to fight you. Of course I will. But yeah, going back to that, there was no sort of emotion. I didn't feel emotionally as driven with it as I do with the MMA. As I said, I'm lucky enough now to be training with the Aspinall team and all the guys up there. So I'm learning. I went back on Monday. When I'm doing the bare knuckle, it takes me away from them a little bit because I have to go and box. Um, so I have to concentrate on going to a boxing gym, working on my boxing solely, inspiring boxers, and it takes me away from the MMA. And I don't like that because I miss it loads. So yeah, back with them yesterday. I've got a couple of hours of jiu-jitsu with my friend Gaz at Primal tonight as well. So and then I'll be doing some other bits for the rest of the week. My immediate plans with MMA, I'm fighting a guy called Sam Spokes on a show called Almighty, which is quite a big regional show in the UK. And I'm fighting in D-Side Leisure Centre, which is literally a stone's throw away from the house. I can walk there in 5 minutes. So I'm hoping to do some good tickets for that. I've never fought this. I think the closest I've ever fought to home's Manchester. So it'd be really nice to get a fight local. He's a tough guy. He's a veteran. He's been around for a long time. He's 1-1, but he just seems to have been fighting forever. His amateur career goes back to like I think it's in 2014. He trains under Ollie Thompson, who's a big name in the MMA game in the UK. So, and he's still going. Ollie, I think he's still fighting. So, it's a nice fight. He's a tough guy. Very much looking forward to it. I've got a manager that I've been working with now since I think just before Christmas. Or he's promote management, and we've got a plan in place. My goal is to fight for the PFL. That's the company I want to fight for. I've made it quite known. Um, I've had a little bit of conversation with Dan Hardy over it. Nothing major, just little word in his ear kind of thing. And I think Sid spoke to him as well. Um, don't get me wrong. If I got to a certain like win streak in the UFC come calling, I'm never going to say like no, I don't want to go to the UFC. Do you know what I mean? But I think I'm 34. I think the PFL structure, how they do things with the league and they do the tournaments where PFL Europe, I think it's 100 grand if you win, then PFL Global's like 1 million. And you're very active with them. You get a lot of fights in a year. I think you can fight 4 or 5 times a year. I think that suits me like to a T. So that's the goal. I need to get Sam Spokes out of the way, and then I probably need another win somewhere. And then for 2025, I think I'm going to try and push as hard as I can to get in with the PFL.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Well, I'll be tuning for you all the way, mate. You know that. I mean,
Thank you, brother.
I always support you. Like even now, when things haven't gone to plan, when things have gone to plan, I mean, it doesn't matter. I always support you anyway. But I believe there's a lot left in the tank, and I believe that being a heavyweight as well, you've got more time. That's the other thing. I
Yeah,
mean, because at lower weights, I mean, 34, it can be regarded as being a bit older, but at the higher weights, I think people go on to their 40s and stuff. It's a different thing. You know.
the thing with me as well, Liam. I'm 34, but I didn't start fighting close to 28. So that like I haven't got a lot of damage on or rounds on my body. So I think I have got at least another 8 years at a high level if I get there. So it's like I mean heavyweights. Look at your Romero. He's not heavyweight, but he's 46 and he's still fighting. Do you know what I mean? I think heavyweights can go to like the 43, 44 at a good level if you look after yourself. Um, I mean, obviously, if I'd done really well and I was financially stable before that, then you wouldn't need to, would you? But I'm just thinking long term. I can go for that long. If I look after myself and put the work in, I reckon I can do it for another 8 years. I think that's realistic.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. 100%. I mean, age is just a number anyway, but at the same time, if you look after yourself, yeah, not having the miles on the clock, and obviously all of the research with sparring and what and the toll it takes and doing things the right way. I just so I don't forget about this. You mentioned earlier, and I don't want to dwell on this, but I want to look at the positive side of it, if that makes sense. You said about the trolling and things after Gary Slater. Now, I remember when I think it was around the fight you had in South Africa. I think it was. It was around back then. You had, I think, a similar thing, and it seemed to be more of a struggle. Whereas obviously now you seem more philosophical, more relaxed, and I think it's an important lesson for anybody listening because whether you're a fighter, whether you're starting your own business, whether you're doing something else, there will always be people, and there are always people who've never done it themselves, or point the finger. And like you're saying about, Dan Hardy, Tom Aspinall, all these guys, I mean, they'll help you because they've been there and they want to help someone do better because they've done it. Whereas somebody who's never done it, they always want to bring people down to their level, which is my philosophy of how I stroke things off. But can we talk a little bit about that from the purposes of inspiration of your advice for people of how they would not let the critics tear them down, if you get where I'm coming from with this?
Yeah, so like you said, I had a when I fought for the UFC and I got obviously stopped my second pro fight. I had quite a lot of horrible stuff being said, and it affected me big time back then. I've sort of got the mindset now that it still gets you. You read little bits and you think, oh, I, I like it. There's some of them you want to reply to, but that's what these people want you to do. They want to bring you down. Like it's I always think the people that are writing stuff like this, they're very insecure in the way they're living their lives. They've got nothing else to do. They just want to be nasty and hurtful and spiteful. And my sort of outlook on life is now I'm very sort of stoic in my beliefs. Like with fights, like win, lose or draw, on the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like what people say doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't. Like people can say what they want. That's up to them. As long as you are living your life to the fullest you can and you're enjoying yourself and you're happy, then no one else matters. Like their opinion, just the ones you hold close to your partner, your family, your close friends. Everything else is irrelevant. In my view, that's how I've started viewing things. So the less you care about what other people think, the happier you are. Because there's always going to be people trying to bring people down. There's always going to be negativity. You see it at the highest level, sort of celebrities or sports stars or anything. They get trolled. They like you just read it. You can see it on social media. You look on like Cristiano Ronaldo, the most famous footballer in the world, and he'll get people saying things if he has a bad game. Do you know what I mean? You're never going to get rid of it. So you've just got to lose that again, go to emotional attachment. Like take yourself away from it because you don't need it. Like it's irrelevant. These people are irrelevant to you, and they're nobodies. They're just writing things online, and they must lead really insecure, sad lives to be trying to bring people down. So anyone that's struggling with stuff like that, it's hard because I've been there, and you get affected by it. But you've just got to switch off from it and just care less. Care about what you're doing. Care about what your family is doing, your life, your goals, your dreams, and everything else is irrelevant. Like you've just got to take yourself away from it, otherwise it'll make you miserable.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. Like I said earlier, people doing better, they often, not always, but they often support people and try and lift people up. But yeah, the people who are struggling, the people who are not happy, bitter, insecure, whatever, always try and pull people down. And you've got to be philosophical that, like, in our era now, I mean, trending on the internet is not very nice. But then it's a long way. It's come a long way from like back in the day where people would do something wrong or speak out and they'd actually be killed for it, things like that. And then I mean, these days we trend on the internet. I mean, it's not the same thing as like our ancestors, things, you know. So, but it is hard to do that. But that sort of bulletproof mindset, I love that, and I just wanted to get your advice. Also, when we spoke last time, you spoke to me a little bit about some of the work you were doing. I mean, I call it like inner work or self development or whatever you want to call it. But you were talking about like some of the mindset things and some of the work you're doing with that. And again, I think it's really cool that you're facing that. I think it could be valuable for people as well. I don't know what you've been doing with that since we last spoke, though. So it'd be good to touch on that, please, mate, as well.
Yeah, so I think I still work with a guy called Rob Holdsworth. He's one of my sponsors, so anytime I need any sort of it's mindset coaching, so it's almost like a counseling session with him. So anytime I need to just if I'm feeling like anxious or there's certain negative thoughts that come into my mind, I can always just schedule a meeting with him to sort it out. And I haven't needed it for the last few months, because I've sort of tried to explore my own sort of mindset myself, if that's the right word to use, and sort of like face the battles myself. And I think it resonates into. I started working. I've been working as a care worker for the last 5 years, but last year I moved into working with kids with complex needs. So I work for a company called Bluestones Medical Complex Care, and we basically we take kids in that have been moved around lots of different care sectors. Now they don't necessarily have disabilities or learning difficulties or anything, but they're just struggling to get on the right path with life. They might have issues with friendship groups or drugs, alcohol, exploitation, stuff like that. And we're sort of there to guide them into the right path. I think we're sort of one of the like a last chance saloon for a lot of them because they've been moved around quite a lot. So they're a fantastic company to work for. They actually sponsored me, um, Darren and Trish, the CEO and managing director, because they believe in me as a person, because they know what I've gone through with my mental health. They believe in me as a fighter, obviously, to do it as well. And I think I share the same sort of morals as both of them and the company, to try and help people because that's very much in my nature. I love helping people, like yourself, um, and that resonates into the mindset that I've got now. Um, you've got to be positive. You've got to sort of like push for your goals. You've got to succeed. So that's the wrong thing. You haven't got to succeed. You've got to have something to drive towards. And in my workplace, even though I only do 2 days a week to fit around the training, but we're trying to push these kids to have goals and succeed and have dreams and get jobs and do well in school and and then it resonates back to myself, Liam. So it's like I want to succeed. I want my partner to succeed in chasing her dreams and goals with the makeup and stuff. So I'm very, very over the last 12 months. I'm more driven than I used to be, and started surrounding myself now with sort of individuals and groups of people that are of the same mindset. The Aspinall team, they're all so like it's a group of heavyweights and a group of coaches, and they're just so driven to succeed in what they're doing, and it inspires me, and then I can take that away and try and inspire other people, hopefully. So yeah, that's where my mindset's at the moment. I'm just driven, and I want to keep going with it and keep feeling that way, and hopefully inspire others to feel the same.
Absolutely. Well, it's a beautiful description. I'm glad you mentioned the work you're doing as well, because I had that in mind to
Oh, did
talk
you?
about that. Yeah, yeah. So I'm really glad you covered it because that giving back and everything. I mean, I've got all the respect in the world for that and giving back to people. And um, there's a couple of personal reasons why I'll tell you about that another time. But anyway, it's a wonderful work that you're doing, and also what you said about inspiring people and everything. You definitely do that. I mean, that's the other reason I keep interviewing you as well, because it's not just the fact I want to support you, but then you also have a very good message and very good, as you said, their morals and sort of ethics that you put out as well. So it works together really well. Um, So I don't forget, because I had like a save today for some reason. When you were saying about your partner, she obviously supports you a lot, and this is an interesting one, even though it's a little bit slightly personal. But the reason I'm asking, I did a couple of interviews recently where I actually had fighters and their partners together on the show to talk about it from both sides, because people see what they're doing with the training and everything, but people don't see what it's like from the women and people behind the scenes. And I mean, obviously she supports you a lot and everything. Can you share with us a little bit about what it's like for her managing things around your training and things like that? Because it's something that people really don't see behind the scenes. If you get why I'm bringing this up, basically.
She's brilliant. She pushes me so much. There'll be days where sometimes my anxiety gets the better of me and I don't want to go to the gym or I don't want to train. There's been times where I've got all my stuff ready, literally all my MMA gears in my bag. And I've literally said I'm not going last minute because I get imposter syndrome. I feel like I'm not good enough or I stress about it. I worry, but she literally pushes me so much. She puts like I'm not. I'm either in way or training, and she's brilliant with me, mate. She worries about the fighting. She weren't keen on the bare knuckle because she thinks it's a bit brutal, like a lot of people do. But um, she was still supportive of me. She watches all the fights. She she knows when I'm sort of like battered and bruised after training, and I just need a little pick me up and stuff. I couldn't ask for anyone better, mate. Honestly, like the the, she's put up with it for what are we 4, 5, 6, 8 years now. Me trying to chase this dream, this goal I've got of being a world class professional fighter, and she just stays by my side, pushing me all the way and being supportive. I just love it to bits for it, mate. I couldn't ask for anyone better. She's never said a negative thing about it. She's never turned around to me and said, "I don't want you to fight. I don't want you to train." Them words have never left her mouth, and it's just refreshing because if I didn't have someone there sort of pushing me in like the days where I'm not quite feeling it and stuff, then it probably all collapse. I probably wouldn't train as much as I have, or I wouldn't push myself as much. So I need her, like like I need her. It's like as simple as that. I need her to be there, and she is every single day.
That's a beautiful description, mate. Absolutely. And you know what they say? I mean, behind every great man there's a great woman and everything. And it's it's something
It's
that
definitely that. It's definitely that.
but it is overlooked, though, isn't it? I mean, people don't see, people don't often see the sacrifices that the fighters like you and guys like you make. But then they also don't see the impact on like the close family and people's wives and people's kids and people's mums and dads. When somebody loses a fight, when somebody wins a fight, when the highs and the lows. That those people are with you on the ride. So that's why I wanted to give that a mention as well. Now we talked about the trolls and the negative people and everything, but obviously I want to talk more about the positive people because you've surrounded yourself with the Aspinall team and who you surround yourself with is so important. Iron sharpens iron and all of that stuff. And you mentioned that this one individual with your mindset is a sponsor and everything. Are there other sponsors? Are there other people that maybe are doing really good work in your life, even with your family or anybody that people on the outside don't know about or don't know much about maybe, that you'd like to give a thank you to, if that makes sense?
Very
People,
lucky. I'm very lucky to have a lot of good sponsors that have stuck with me for a long time. I've got a Matt McCauley who does my strength and conditioning. He's done wonders with me, and I've really learned a lot about my body working with him, which has been fantastic. Oh, I'm going to forget these sponsors now.
sorry, I put
Bluestones, Bluestones, obviously my company. Very very grateful for them backing me. It's not even just it's having a company with sort of the same morals and um, what's the word I'm looking for? Principles and stuff as me, supporting me. It means a lot to me. So I'm very, very thankful for them. Crozier Building is a gentleman from the Cumbria called Wayne Crozier. Didn't even know him. Sponsored me for my fights out of nowhere. Paid for stuff for me that I needed, and he's a great guy. Um, oh, I don't even Shikari mouth guard, mouth guard, um, Grappler soap. Who are a big hygiene soap company from the UK. I get soap off them. It's the best going, like cleanest soap you'll ever use. It's amazing. Good to go recovery for my drinks. Recovery drinks, best on the market. Limitless Patsy's Irish Sea Moss, another supplement. I'm going to forget some. I'm really sorry if I forgot. Big shout out to Ryan Thomas, my boxing coach as well, um, and all my past coaches as well. Before I forget on to the present ones, every past coach I've worked with, I want to say thank you to, because it's not just about the here and now. It's about everything that I've gone through over the last 8 years. Everyone I've worked with has done well by me. I haven't got a bad word to say about one coach or one training partner that I've been with. Um, my coaches at the moment, like I said, Ryan, my boxing coach, is fantastic. He's got some serious power out of me that I never had. His understanding of boxing is unreal. He's been in the game for 20 odd years. Obviously, the Aspinall guys, that speaks for itself. The inspiration I draw off them. And I don't just mean as like martial artists, I mean as people. Like, they inspire me. Like, I look up to every single one of them. I see them as my best friends, I see them as my teammates. I need to get up there more than I have been, because I've been doing bare knuckle, which I will. Um, I love being around them. I love being in their presence. My jiu-jitsu coach, Gaz Topler, is a long-time friend of mine, who I've recently gone back to work with. Um, Love him to bits. Um, my close friends and family, I've got a lot of thank yous here, mate. A lot of good people around me. My missus, that we've obviously spoken about, my mum, my dad, my brother, my best mates. A lot, mate. I'm very grateful. I'm very privileged to have all these sort of people around me. I'm just so happy that I've got good people around me. And I try and surround myself with good people that have dreams and goals, and they strive for things, because it spurs me on to do it as well. Um, and I'm very grateful to call you a good friend as well, Liam. Like, your journey out to Cyprus has really inspired me. Like, I'm in awe of it. I think it's amazing, and I think you're a great guy. And I'm privileged to come on and chat with you every time and catch up. And yeah, I don't think I forgot anyone, mate. I think if I have, I'm sorry. It's not on purpose, but I've got a lot of good people to say thank you to that inspire me.
Well, you're very blessed to have good people around you. And sorry to put you on the spot, but it's really good to give those guys a mention and those people a
Of
mention.
course.
If you forget anyone, all you do, just record it on your phone, send it to me, and I'll cut it in with the video. That happens sometimes. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm privileged to call you a good friend as well, and it's one of those things, mate. You're one of the best people I know. You've got absolute heart of gold. I love talking with you. I love not just the fighting, but what you represent as a human being. You know, like the way you help people, the way you have time for people, like you said earlier, the work you do with kids. There's so many things, and it's yeah. I mean, my journey to Cyprus. It really, that's why I keep posting about it. You know, I mean, it's like if it inspires people, they don't have to come to Cyprus, but if they want to live something and they think, oh, is that possible to do? Because, you know, coming out here, it stretched me to use all the skills I've got and all the experience and all the strength I've got to be able to
Yeah,
actually take such a big leap, but then it's so worth it. And, you know, I'm looking forward to you coming to visit me, though. And you know, the best bit is we've got that on camera now, so you have
we
to do
do.
it.
I can't not now.
But all joking aside, mate, it would be awesome for you to come out here, and obviously, as well as that, when I'm back in the UK, because I'll be going back to visit family and all of this type of stuff, as well, we can catch up that way, one way or another. We'll sort that out, and when you're out here. But in the meantime, I'll continue supporting you in this type of format. You know, every so many fights, you know, that down the road, give it sort of 2, 3, 4 fights, you know, or something like that, and then we'll have another catch up. I'm excited to see what MMA holds for you. Um, maybe grappling as well, because I know you've done one or two grappling competitions, haven't you, as well? So
Yeah, I done all right with that. I think that was last year, just staying busy. I think I got a gold, not gold, a silver and a bronze in two of them. So I done all right. I'd like to do that again. That'll probably be on the agenda at some point. I just need to spend a couple more scrapping again because I've done it a lot of it over the last 6 months because of the bare knuckle. But yeah, I'll definitely be giving that another go. But that's it with me. Like I get knocked down, I keep coming back. I've got that special sort of drive that is only going to get me to the top. I've said I want to fight for the PFL, and that'll happen. So I'm very confident to make that happen.
yeah. And I've got to say as well, for our audience, follow this man. If you're not already plugged into the journey, he's out there on social media. Rob Cunningham on Facebook. You can search Rob Cunningham on Instagram. I think it's Rob Cunny, Cunni. I think you got on
Yeah,
there on Instagram. So search that, guys. I don't know if you're on X, formerly known as Twitter. No, not on there. Me neither. So you're not missing much there, guys. But the other two, Facebook and Instagram, check Rob out on those. Plug into the journey. Big things ahead. And for our audience, if you get in on a journey at this time, which is still quite early days, really, you'll see some very exciting things ahead of what's yet to come. Rob, my
right.
mate, like I say, it's been a real pleasure. I've been looking forward to it, and it's been fun. I've had fun catching up with you, and I hope you have as well, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Yeah, always do.
Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.